The next topic is clay minerals and soil structure. The soil structure means the geometrical arrangement of the particles. So how these particles are arranged with respect to each other and what are the forces acting between them. So for different soils there are different forces. For coarse grained soils gravity forces are predominant, whereas for fine grained soils interparticle forces become, as I've written here, interparticle forces are predominant in clayey soils, and coarse grained soils the structure is governed by gravity forces. If we are talking about the fine grained soils, then other factors also come into picture, that is soil minerals. So what is the soil mineral of which the soil is made, that also affects the soil structure. So, and the electrical properties, so the soil particles, if they are carrying some electrical charge on their surfaces, so that affects the soil structure. And the ionic composition of pore water, so the water which is there in the pores, what is the ionic composition of that water? It means if it is a fresh water, acidic or alkaline or salty water, so that will affect the soil structure. So we'll see these factors one by one. Let's first see the how these soil minerals are made in case of clayey soils. So these are made of some basic crystal sheets. So two sheets are there. First is tetrahedral sheet and another is octahedral sheet. So the tetrahedral sheet is made up of 4 oxygen atoms and 1 silicon atom. So oxygen atoms are placed at the tip of the tetrahedron and the silicon atom is placed inside the tetrahedron. So these units, this is one unit, one tetrahedron unit, and when these units are connected, they form a sheet-like structure, and that we call as silica sheet. So in this case, all these oxygen atoms which are there at the base, these are connected to two units. So because these are connected to two units, so the charge on a single atom will be -1, and similarly -1 here, and the top oxygen particles, these are not connected to any other unit, so they have the charge of -2, and silica atom will have a charge of +4. So the net charge on the tetrahedral sheet will be -5 plus 4, that is equal to -1. And the way these are connected, so it forms a hexagonal shape in between these units. So if it is connected like this, here will be the oxygen atom, so this tetrahedron will be formed in between this particle in these tetrahedral units. So the symbolic representation for the tetrahedral unit is a trapezoid, and the next is the octahedral unit. So it consists of hydroxyl ion at the tip, and so there will be 6 hydroxyl ion at 6 tips, and the inside metal ion can be of aluminium or magnesium, or some other ion can replace these metal ions also. And so in the sheet like structure, these ions are connected, all these hydroxyl ions are connected to 3 units. I have tried to show the same here. If the green one is representing one tetrahedral unit and the red one is representing another tetrahedral unit and the yellow one is representing the third tetrahedral unit. So in that case, at this point, all the 3 hydroxyl ion will be this hydroxyl ion will be shared by these 3 units, the green one, red one and the yellow one. So the hydroxyl ion is shared by 3 units, so the net charge on this will be -1/3, because hydroxyl ion carries a charge of -1. So because it is shared by 3 units, so it is carrying a charge of -1/3. Now if this sheet is spread in both the horizontal direction, like if it is a 3-dimensional sheet, so in these 2 directions, if the sheet is spreading up to in a large distance, so all these ions will be shared by 3 units. So because of that, it will contain a charge of -1/3 for all these units. And so the net charge of one unit of one hydroxyl unit will be of one octahedral unit, I mean, if we are considering this atom to be of aluminium, and so the net charge will be 6 hydroxyl unit, and on them minus 1 by 3 for each, and aluminium will contain a charge of plus 3, so the net charge will come out to be minus 2 plus 1, that is minus 2 plus 3, that is plus 1. So this is the net charge on a octahedral sheet. It is represented by a rectangle. So now the different clay minerals will be formed with the various combination of these two units, and sometimes the metallic ion which is there in one unit can be substituted by the same physical size ion of another metal, and in that case it is called as a isomorphic substitution. As we can see that in the tetrahedral unit silicon atom is present, so silicon has a bigger atomic number than aluminium, so aluminium can replace the silicon atom in the tetrahedral unit, and which happens also for some clay minerals. And if this octahedral sheet is made up of aluminium ions, if aluminium is there, then it is called gibbsite, and if it is made up of magnesium, then it is called as brucite. Isomorphous substitution, as I said, if this metallic ion is replaced by some other metallic ion which is of similar physical size and different atomic number, then we call it as isomorphous substitution. Now let's see the clay minerals. The first is kaolinite. So it is a 1:1 mineral, which means that one silica sheet is connected to one gibbsite sheet, and similarly below this also one more sheet will come. So the thickness of this single unit is 7 angstrom, and this space between these two sheets are connected with hydrogen bond, because in the case of silica sheet this tip is of oxygen, and in the case of gibbsite sheet, that is alumina and hydroxyl ion, so it is containing OH minus. So this hydrogen and this oxygen makes the hydrogen bond, and hydrogen bond is comparatively strong bond, so it does not let any other like water cannot enter, or any other isomorphous substitution cannot take place in this case because of the proper bonding. So it is the least active clay mineral among all, and it is found in sedimentary rocks, and that is, I mean, soils which are formed due to sedimentation, that is sedimentary soil and residual soil. Residual soil means that soils which is located at the place where it is formed, it is not transported, so in that case we call it as the residual soil. So that's it for this. Next is the halloysite mineral. So this is also similar to kaolinite, and it is also 1:1 mineral. So this is gibbsite sheet and this is silica sheet, but the gap between these two sheets, in this space water is there, it contains water, so because of that it is not this bond is not strong as that. But if we are heating this mineral, so that water may be removed and it may convert into kaolinite, and even if it is air dried also, then also it can convert to kaolinite. And so this is used for I mean halloysite and kaolinite both are used for china ware, and for antidiarrheal medicines. And in this case also the thickness will again be 7 angstrom. Next is the montmorillonite mineral. This is a 2:1 mineral. So in that case, one gypsite sheet is sandwiched between two silica sheets. So this is the alumina gypsite sheet. This is the silica sheet, and this is separated by water. So this is a structure. So this distance is, in this case it is 9.6 angstrom, and so it because of water, presence of water, and it has largest specific surface also. Because of that, it can carry other charges also on its surface. Some other cation may come here and take its place. So because of that, swelling and shrinkage problem, because these two units are just connected by van der Waals forces, and these are not as strong as the hydrogen bond. So water, a large quantity of water can enter into this space, so volume change will take place in this case. The example of montmorillonite mineral is, it is found is black cotton soil. It is also found in bentonite. So this bentonite is used as the drilling mud also, because it has least internal friction. Because of that, it can be used as the drilling mud. And similarly, next mineral is alite. It is also similar to montmorillonite. So the just one difference is there. So the space between these two sheets is occupied by the potassium ion. So it holds these two sheets more stronger than the van der Waals forces. So in this case, it does not swell as much as montmorillonite, but it swells more than kaolinite. So if I write the swelling potential, so least is for kaolinite, and then it is illite, and then maximum is for montmorillonite. The thickness is also same here also, that is 9.6 angstrom. And isomorphous substitution also takes place in this case. It means that the aluminium which is there in the gypsite sheet, it replaces the silica which is there in the silica sheet. So this is it for the clay minerals. Next video I'll cover the clay water relationship.